Hey, I'm Jay Kumar, the BassBlaster, and this is your Seafoam Top 5 of the Week in Bass Fishing. Number 1, Trey McKinney is here. You know by now that Illinois' Trey McKinney is the youngest ever winner of a Bassmaster Elite Series event at just 9 years old. Okay, of course I mean 19 years old. And he almost broke Paul Elias's all-time BASS weight record too, because BASS hit Lake Fork, Texas, right on the money.
Show me the money!
Well, here you go, Jerry. 12 guys caught over 100 pounds of largemouth bass, and there were more 30-plus pound limits caught in this tournament than I bet anyone ever. Trey had 3 days over 33 pounds and 1 day at 30 pounds even. Crazy. Reminder that because Fork is managed as a trophy fishery, you can only bring one over the slot limit fish to the scales, and that is optional. Else you'd have seen so many big fish you would have thought you were in a giant ditch melon farm. Did you know that they put big melons in weigh bags and weigh them?
9.65.
Of course you did! Alright, Trey caught pre-spawners that stalled due to a cold front the first couple days with a Demiki rig Strike King Z2 and a couple jerk baits that are popular ones, but he didn't want to mention for obvious reasons. He said the Demiki rig was fading by day 3 as the water warmed and the fish moved up, so he had to go with his favorite bait of all time, a Strike King Denny Brower baby structure jig with a Strike King menace on it. And he also fished a Nico Riggs 5-inch Strike King Ocho stick worm in a couple colors, but honey candy was the best for him, he said. As always, his line of choice is Seaguar Tatsu Fluorocarbon. Now the $100,000 question, was it all about forward-facing sonar? Number 2. So was it forward-facing sonar or something else for Trey? Yes? Sort of? I started getting hit up about Trey, I think 3 years ago. Stuff like, you might want to take a look at this kid. Then he started winning BFLs, which in my opinion are some of the toughest tournaments to win because it's all local hammers. I believe Trey won 2 in Illinois back-to-back. Very tough to do. The first one he won with a jig and a shaky head, and the second one he won with a jig. I'm not saying he wasn't using forward-facing sonar because he probably was for at least one of them. And really a bunch of fishermen who came up with it have just really incorporated it into how they learn to tournament fish. But anyhow, that couple years back, no one stressed to me that he was a forward-facing sonar whiz or whatever. He fished the Bassmaster Opens last year, no wins, but he finished second at 2 of them, Toledo Bend and Eufaula, Oklahoma, and he had a 3rd and a 7th place finish too. He qualified for the Elite Series in his first try doing so by finishing 3rd in the Bassmaster Opens points. Now it's a fact that the Open schedule last year favored good scopers a bit, so there's no doubt he was using it then. But like I always say, so was everybody else, and it's not just about a Demiki rig with spinning rods anymore. Anyhow, at Lake Fork, the fish were basically hanging out pre-spawn for 2 days, and then they moved shallow for 2 days. Trey told me he used forward-facing sonar every day, including in real shallow water, including to find little deals, little spots that other people might miss. But again, a lot of other guys were using it too, so to me, the biggest deal about Trey winning this tournament is that he had his 2 main spots all to himself. Now, lots of tour level events have been won on spots, obviously, especially since the whole GPS thing came along and then GPS trolling motors came along. Those things ramped up the whole spots win tournaments deal versus patterns. But even before that, if you could find a spot that no one else found, you had a good shot of winning a tournament. Of course, that spot had to replenish over 4 days, and that is what pre-spawn spots do. So my one guy's 2 cents is that was the biggest factor in Trey winning. That he had 2 spots to himself in an Elite Series tournament, which is really tough to do in and of itself, especially at a lake that can fish small. That's something, man. Number 3.
I am Locutus,
a Borg.
The latest guy sucked into the Borg android bass fishing tech thing ain't Captain Picard, and it's not some young gun electronics whiz. It's 53-year-old Bassmaster Elite Pro Ed Loughran. Oops, here's a better shot of him. What he's wearing there are AR glasses.
What's that stand for?
AR stands for augmented reality, which means you are seeing what's around you through the lenses, along with whatever's projected onto the lenses. VR, virtual reality, are the goggles that cover the whole face, and you only see what those goggles show you.
It's a high-tech prosthesis.
Anyhow, Ed said he developed these deals for this reason only.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
That's right, his neck was killing him after he spent 3 tournaments in a row at the end of last season staring down at his forward-facing sonar screen. He wanted to not hurt like that anymore. So then he did a lot of surfing on Amazon, and he took a welding torch, a soldering iron, some duct tape, and something he found in his yard after this happened. All right, just messing, but anyhow, you can see that there's a wire attached to those glasses. So it's not real practical to wear in tournaments, and so far Ed hasn't worn them in one. But he said that when he does wear it, his neck doesn't hurt anymore, and his display is a lot clearer, sharper than if he was just looking down the whole time, 5 feet up. Will someone come up with something better? No doubt, but for now, Ed is leading the bass fishing tech pack.
Resistance is futile.
Number 4, a castable camera. Well, you knew that was coming even if you never thought about it. And by the way, I cover all this tech stuff because it's new, different, and interesting. If it's not your bag, that's fine, man, but it's the Bassin' news. Anyhow, I heard rumors of this thing coming from at least a couple companies. Looks like the first one to roll it out publicly is Real View Fishing out of Boston, Massachusetts. Boston, if you didn't know it, is one of those East Coast tech areas. They haven't posted much about it yet, but it looks like you spool up this electrical cable that looks like fishing line, which goes through or interacts with some kind of gizmo on your rod, which then transmits real-time fish video to your phone, or I assume a screen on your boat, and you see stuff like this. Pretty cool if that's your thing. And if that's not enough for you, a Swedish company just came out with a smart sensor that you can put near your bait or maybe even on it that records depth and movement, water temperature at depth, retrieve speed, casting distance, and more. It kind of reminds me of stuff that new Cast King iReel does. Just in case you get twisted about this tech stuff, remember what this guy said.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Just go with the Bass and Force, man. But don't go to the dark side. Number 5. If talking about forward-facing sonar and fishing technology makes you feel like this, I get it. So let's not. Let's take a look at a couple tournaments at a couple of lakes. First is last weekend's Bassmaster Open at Santee Cooper. It was won by South Carolina's Kyle Austin, who knows that lake well enough to know where to go when there's a bunch of current between the two lakes, and also what exact trees to hit to catch more fat pre-spawners. His 3 main baits were a Strike King Red Eye Shad lipless crankbait, a tungsten version, a locally made Tree Shaker tackle spinnerbait, and what looks like a watermelon red flake stick worm wacky rigged. Now he did have forward-facing sonar on, but did it help him hook up with a lipless crankbait and a spinnerbait?
He said no.
The weekend before, Louisiana's Tyler Stewart won the Major League Fishing Invitational on Georgia's West Point Lake, and he was fishing docks with a Z-Man jackhammer. No forward-facing sonar needed, man. So take a breath, all you shallow water guys. It's all right now. It's all right, man. You're free to bass fish how you want. That's all I got for you this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Seafoam. Go to BassBlaster.com or .rocks to get the full juice in the juicy BassBlaster email. See you after the MLF Red Crest and the Bassmaster Classic. God bless you.